Welcome to the Jay Franzi Show, your source for the latest news, reviews, and interviews, with insights you can't pay for and stories you've never heard.
Just so I could piss right next to Tom Petty.
Garth turned out to be the most loyal artist of all time.
Smoked weed with Willie.
That was the most surreal, pinching moment.
So I knew I already had a strike against me.
Now, here's your host, Jay Franzi and Tiffany Mason.
And we are coming at you live. I am Jay Franzi, and with me tonight, the Christine to my Dan, my beautiful co-host, Miss Tiffany Mason.
Good evening, Jay. Good evening, crew members.
If you are new to the show, this is your source for the latest news, reviews, and interviews. And if you would like to join in, comment, or fire off any questions, please head over to jfranzi.com. All right, my friend, tonight we have a very special guest with us. We have an artist manager hailing from the great state of Tennessee. We have Jerry Hines. Jerry, my friend, thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's my honor. I appreciate this. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Well, fantastic. We are excited to talk to you. Let's just start off. We've known each other for a while now. I would like to know how you transitioned into working in management.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess we'll start back when I met you, right? So, 2004? That's when I signed up for SAE.
It's only an hour show, Jerry.
I'll try to be quick.
How far back we going?
Yeah. So, okay, we'll do the cliff notes here. We'll do all that stuff. But so 2004, got into it as far as management. So, Jay, the last time you saw me, and I was in your class humbly and trying to learn everything I could. I worked with a lot of various studios in town, making bagels and coffee and not making any money. Was lucky enough on a job site in Dixon, Tennessee, where I was working construction at the time because I didn't think this was going to pan out. So I had to pay the rent. Got a call from a tour manager at the time, a gentleman named Brian Tapley, dear friend of mine. He was Craig's tour manager at the time. This was December of 2004. So I got on that bus. They needed a monitor engineer. So I was like, yeah, let's roll. Met at the Charlotte Pike Walmart in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been on that bus ever since, man. And as far as getting to a managerial role,
we got plenty of questions in between the start and Walmart.
Sure.
So you said monitoring engineer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first of all, we know how that came about now, but
yeah.
How comfortable did you feel taking on a role as a monitor engineer at that time?
At that time, I was faking it till I made it, sir.
Because it is not your typical approach. It's not even like doing front of house mixing for that matter.
No, sir, no. It's from my experience, 22, 23 years on the road, it's the worst seat to have in the business.
Trust me, I've been there. It's not a seat that I look forward to going back to at any point.
Sure.
So how long did you do that for?
So that was from 2004 to about 2008.
All right.
Then I became his production manager and then front house engineer.
Okay, so production manager first.
So first was a monitor engineer and a stage manager and guitar tech. So what they don't teach you in the class that you so eloquently just expressed to us as young adults, when you go on the road, you wear many hats. So when I got that gig with Craig, literally it was like I thought I was going to run this 32 GA12, this Yamaha they had, and some PSM 600s that had 2 channels. And if you didn't have both channels working, you were shit out of luck. And we're going back to wedges, right? So beyond that, I was running the stage and guitar teching. And oddly enough, I knew about 3 chords in the truth back then. Didn't even know how to tune a guitar, but for some reason, I was the guitar tech as well. So cheers to that.
All right. So again, you're going into an unfamiliar role. How nervous are you doing that?
Completely and utterly. At that time point, I had a married young couple, baby on the way. Didn't know if any of this was going to work out. And I just made it happen. It was like either do or die, and I had to do for my family and myself.
What did you do to learn the role?
Messed up a lot. A lot of mistakes, right? I mean, there's not a book for that, Jay. There's nothing that you guys could ever prepared us for. When your boot's on the ground like that, and it's something that you're just not familiar with, and you think you're prepared for it until you step in those boots, it's nothing that can prepare you for it. Not a person, not a book, not a story. You just have to do it.
And how understanding was the guitar player?
Oh, he's still not understanding. I mean, which guitar player? they're all the same. And I've loved many of them, and they're all great. But that's the next best thing from an artist in your career is the lead guitar player. Yeah.
What was the biggest mess up at that time?
Wow. I'm going to be real with you and say not believing in myself. Right. So that led to many mess ups. Right. So if I'd have been more confident in my ability and just more eager to learn and be kind of just coherent with everything was going on and be translucent with my boss and tour manager, that would have probably saved me a lot of heartache just by building relationships with them. But as far as a day-to-day basis, I mean, you're always going to plug in the wrong cable. You're always going to have to assign the wrong RF, turn something up too much, something down too much, not make it sound as good as a record rep wants it to sound. I mean, there's multiple ways to ruin that job. But but I think that the friendships and the relationships you build, camaraderie, all that stuff, it kind of outweighs all of that stuff.
I mean, it's crazy. I've spent my time in the studio. I did go on the road a couple times. I always say the road is so much different than the studio. The studio, as much as you're worried about time and money, because everything costs a lot of money and you're wasting a lot of time.
Sure.
But when you're live, you have no other options other than to fix it and get it going quickly.
Yes, sir.
So it was never something that I felt comfortable in. I did a handful of the live shows, but that was more than enough for me.
Right.
So you did all that, and then you end up at front of house.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're at front of house. What was the most challenging thing to that role?
So I think the most trying time I've had as a front of house engineer was probably back in 2010. We were out with a young lady. A lot of people probably don't know, Carrie Underwood, right? So, and
who is it?
Yeah, exactly right. And so Craig had to open a spot for her, and he was on the same label at the time. And the CEO and the gentleman that ran Sony at the time was Joe Galante. Mm-hmm. And if you ever met that guy, he was definitely like a New York mafia style individual, Jay. He really was. That like no nonsensical kind of guy.
Hey,
well, long story short,
don't be knocking on my family.
No, not at all. I respect it, and it's one of those things that's like those people demand respect, and you just feel like eager to give it back to them. And the way that I was able to do it was with the performance of the night and my execution on how we did it. So Madison Square Garden, I'll never forget it. I'm sitting there, and Joe Galante's right behind me, like literally with all the BMG staff at the time. And I'm opening up. It's like, this is the only time in the 60 shows that we've done with her. And I just feel his presence over me. I think that was the hardest time I had in my life, just doing what I do on a daily basis, just paint by number stuff, and just really thinking about what I was doing when I normally don't. And at the end of the night, he just put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Good job, son," and walked away. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, because at that point, when the head of the label comes up to your artist, if you don't sound good out there, they're going to know about it, and it's my fault.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about it several times on the show about the difference between an arena versus a stadium, indoors versus outdoors. Can you tell us the challenges you had on the road mixing those two environments?
Of course. I mean, whether it's being on the stage or doing it at front of house, it's, the math matters, right? And elements do as well. And like when you're dealing with the sunrise, the sunset, the temperature, the distance, the speed, the wind, just the elements itself as far as distance from RF standpoint to to it sounding really, really good 60 feet in front of you and then sound like complete utter garbage, like, 50 feet behind you. And there's nothing you can do about it. You're at the mercy of the production. And, all those things just kind of make you realize you can only control and determine what you can. And if you realize that this is it and I'm doing the best I can right here, then you kind of go with it. But I mean, each one is very different, Jay. There's not one that I prefer. I think indoors is a little bit more of a controlled environment, just like a studio. But outdoors has its kind of its room to grow too, because of it lets some of your faults not be as audible. Because when you're indoors and something happens, if you mess it up, everybody hears it. Outdoors, it depends on the proximity of the PA, the spread of it, what you're
There's
doing,
more things
how far
to
the crowd
blame.
is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so somehow we realized, okay, you go from monitors to stage to tech to front of house, but the whole reason you're here is because of your management. So
Sure.
now let's go ahead and go
Okay.
from Walmart to management.
Well, we're still at the dollar store, Jay, but anyway, but yeah. So it's so that would have been 2012, right? So at that point, I felt like I learned enough about Craig's business and his daily operations, and he was going through a time to where he was going to pick a new tour manager, and I just approached him and was like, "Hey, look, I'm tired of just learning from everybody above me and excelling. I want that opportunity," and I just kind of instilled like trust and respect in him. And he did the same thing in me and just said, "Hey, if you take it, try it. If it doesn't work out, we'll go from there."
All right.
So-
Was that more intimidating for that role than the engineering roles?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me why.
Because it became a certain aspect to where it used to be just about the music, and it transformed right into the business. And the business element of it, definitely at that time wasn't prepared for, wasn't knowledgeable enough to understand a lot of those aspects. And it was kind of like literally going back to school, and you're doing it on the fly.
All right. So tell us about some of the things you weren't prepared for.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll get to the brass tacks of it, but as a tour manager, so when you're a production manager, yeah, you deal with some budgets. You deal with some obstacles as far as production and stuff of that magnitude. When you become a tour manager and you're balancing the budget of a tour on how it operates, daily expenses, having employees when you were a co-worker yourself, being the boss, I don't think there's anything that can prepare you for that. It's just a day-to-day kind of grind. I was lucky enough, I think, from my upbringing and just who I am as a person, that I could shoulder it and kind of get through it. But that was probably the biggest obstacles. And then also as a tour manager, you learn and you grow, and you can do everything perfect. There's one thing they don't tell you about, and you kind of have to be a therapist. You have to be you're the guy, you're the captain, right? And whether the bus door is open or closed, all those problems travel with you. And if you're not open enough and man enough and swallow your pride enough to know that you have those same kind of troubles at home, whether it's being a husband, a father, or your brother, or just a daily operational kind of thing, these people do too. But you're supposed to be the catalyst. You're supposed to be the guy that kind of uplifts everybody, puts everybody on the same level playing field to come out here, do a job for somebody that we're representing, and in return it represents us. And hopefully it's fruitful for us financially long term. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I can pinpoint down that nobody trains you for this job, and there's literally not a book, a course, a college, or a person that done it before that can explain that to you until you actually experience it yourself.
All right, you mentioned something in there I want to touch on, and that is that you were an employee yourself right before that. So did your team look at you any different when you took on that role?
Absolutely. Man, boy, what the struggles were immense. I lost some really, really, really good friends during that time period of that transition.
They just couldn't handle the fact that you became the boss.
No, sir. No. But the crazy thing about it is, Jay, is that I understood. I was kind of expecting some of that. I mean, some of the relationships that I lost, I just thought I never would. But, at the end of the day, it's a business. It's what we do. It's kind of the nature of it. You're going to meet a lot of people in any organization, much less it's music or working at Walmart or the dollar store or FedEx or you name it. I mean, you always meet people and you love them and trust them and they become your coworkers and you think family, and then next minute they're gone and the next batch come in and you got to do the same thing again. Right?
Well, at that point though, you're earning respect on a different level. You've got respect of a team now that has never met you before.
Of course.
And I would think that's probably a little easier than the team that knew you as a coworker.
Yes, sir. You nailed it. It is. It's a whole lot easier to initially get their respect from day one and grow something new, opposed to somebody knowing all your demons and everything, whatever it may be.
Well, I know you pretty well, and I don't think that you are the type of person that would act like the stereotypical boss. I think you would act like a leader. You would go in there and that you would not treat people differently because of your new role, that you're probably just as, like you said, intimidated trying to learn your new role. You're just expecting everybody else to do what they were supposed to be doing all along.
Exactly right. And thank you for saying that. And that's what I tried to do, and that's what I still try to do. And I just, when I get somebody that's trying to do what I did many years ago, if I can do anything in my power to help them get to the next level, I'm going to do it because I know how hard it is. And a lot of people didn't have the opportunities or luck. I mean, hell, all of this is luck. Whether you're doing what we're doing right now tonight or playing a guitar in a basement to a shed to a bar to an amphitheater, we all hit a scratch off at some point because we're very far in between the populace that gets to do this for a living.
Well, I think there's a combination of that, right? I think, yes, you're right. You have to be in the right place at the right time, but you also have to be prepared to accept those opportunities.
Sure.
So if you're not prepared, there's a very good chance you're going to fall on your face. So for you, even though you were put in a role that you were not familiar with, whether it be monitors or front of house or even as a guitar tech, you might not have been familiar with those roles, but you were prepared for the moment. So
Absolutely.
You were prepared to take on the challenge. You were prepared with a general set of knowledge that you were able to then apply to the different areas. So I think that's what your success can be attributed to. But you started talking about the budgeting. Let's start with you. If you go from monitor to tech to front of house, are those all paid the same? Like, are they all shift pay?
Yeah, they are, but every role has its different kind of tier of, I mean, it's just like anything else in life. Like there's all tiers. So yeah, like to break it down, when I first started with Craig, and I'll be transparent with this. I mean, hell, he don't care. But I made about $125 a show.
And that was at monitors.
Monitors, yeah. And
I think it's important. We keep saying Craig, but I don't know if the audience knows.
I'm sorry. Okay, so Craig Morgan, right? So if they don't know, they can Google him. He's been out for 25, 26 years. If you don't know him by now, you probably won't unless you search for him.
Let's just say he is high enough on the chain that Carrie Underwood would open up for him.
Yeah, well, look, he's a legend. He's a good friend, my best friend, and a great business partner, and probably one of the best decisions I've made in my entire life, Jay. I would just put it at that.
Very cool.
Right. So, but anyway, so Craig Morgan. But yes, the tiers of it, it's nothing to him. Like when you're growing with an artist, that's what you're doing is growing. And the right kind of artist, you're going to make what's comparable to their business strategy on what they can afford, right?
Right.
Sure.
So at that point in time, I was making $125 a show, and it equated to like $17,000, $18,000 a year, right? And that's doing 90, 120 plus shows
on the road, away from your family.
Yeah. So long story short, yes, of course, when you rank up and they put more trust in you to do a higher role of a job in their organization, you're going to make more money. I'll tell you this: the monitor engineer to the tour manager, I'll take the tour manager any day of the week.
Well, that's what I'm leading towards here. Is you go from the monitors, you go to guitar tech, and you go to front house. Those are all paid by the show. So now, as a road manager, are you paid by the show, or are you now salary?
All salary.
Exactly.
for sure. But just to pigtail on that, I'm not only his tour manager, his road manager, his personal assistant. Well, I mean, just all those things. He entrusts his entire life with me and all his other entities and businesses as well. So I'm a little bit different than your average guy, just because of the longevity, I think. But man, I wouldn't have traded for anything, Jay. Really.
Well, what are you at? 22 years?
22, yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I
exactly
think
right.
you have shown in your stair-stepping through him growing his career that you're going to be there. You know, you've obviously built
loyal.
some trust between the two of each
Sure.
other. So I think you have proven yourself that he can trust you in all those things.
Of course, yeah. But perception is everything, Tiffany. I've also been married for 30 years. So am I a good liar or am I good at what I do? Right?
Maybe a little bit of both.
I'm kidding. I'm trying to be funny.
So,
Look, Jay, keep us back on track here.
yeah, we do what we can.
Yeah.
So the road manager
He does what he
gig,
can.
Can you tell us what the day in a life is like?
Wow. I mean, it differs, right? I mean, the day never starts with that day, if that makes sense. As a tour manager, you're always in advance of another day. Like today, I'm working on 3 weeks from now, and yesterday I was working on 2 weeks from now. It's like today is never that day. But if you want to know operational standpoint, it's like you're on call 24/7. That's why you're on a salary, right? It's not I wake up at 9 and clock in, and 5 o'clock I'm done. It could be 6:30 in the morning. It could be 2:30 a.m. the next morning. And that's not just from your artist. That's from the management. That's from booking. That's from the business manager. That's maybe the publicist. Oh my God, he said something wrong on the interview y'all did today. And how can I fix it? Well, I can't because he already said it, but I'm sorry. But no, it's a day in the life of a tour manager's, man, is just be ready. I mean, just be willing and able to fix the problems you wasn't aware of just 10 hours ago. Because whether it's your crew, your band, your artist, the management, the booking, the buyer, who knows? Everybody always has the buyer. Oh, now we got to have a definition of everything, right?
Yeah,
so the buyer, the buyer
That's why we
is
keep
the gentleman
Tiffany here.
Yeah, I understand. So a buyer, Tiffany, is somebody that's willing to pay Craig Morgan a fee to come perform at a venue that they choose, either by a charitable event, a city event to where funds are coming in, or just a individual purchaser that wants to book Craig Morgan to do a show in their town or venue or whatever it may be. Right. So, and then they have a promoter that helps promote it, and then you have staff from that. Man, we have to make this show really long, Jay, if we got to go through this route.
I know. I really toyed with the idea of not having her here tonight.
Let's go back to 2004.
I took her credentials away from her tonight, and she somehow joined anyway. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, I like it anyway.
So you're working as a road manager for Craig, but now all of a sudden you're taking on even another role.
Sure.
So can you tell us about your new role and what it's like managing an artist directly?
Man, I thought it would be very similar, but boy, am I wrong. It's like starting over, if you want to be honest. It's like believing in something just like you do on a daily basis that already works. And then you try to kind of harness everything you've been doing with this artist in this role that's a little bit different than what you're doing, but implying that and maybe kind of hoping for the same results. But when you hit another role of a business, Jay, or you do something different, for some reason people treat you different, or they just, it's just a little bit different than before. Not good or bad. It's just different obstacles. It's different worries. I mean, as a young manager, you don't make anything. $0, right? I mean, for a typical manager, you're making 10 to 15% of a gross revenue of an artist. But when you're working with said artist and he's that guy that's not getting any kind of big traction or big shows or has a big song out yet, you don't really feel right taking 15% of their Broadway money, right? I mean, that's just not... I mean, if you want to be a complete asshole, I guess you could do it, and that's what makes you a bad manager. But that's just not the right path to go. You're trying to support this kid or this person, this man, and believe in them more so than anybody else. Like you're the biggest fan at that point. You're the meet and greet, and you're just hoping to try to entice millions and millions of people to believe in what you believe in. That's a hard thing to do.
So the artist we're talking about is Trey Calloway, previous
Yes,
guest of the show, friend of the show. So what is Trey hoping to get out of having you manage him?
Man, that's a question for him, right? But if I could answer it for him, I hope that he's getting someone that wakes up before him, makes the calls he don't have to make, sell his product better than anybody that he's ever had in his life, whether it's his wife or his child. Just truly believe in the next steps for him, and then trying to connect him with the people that can make that possible.
All right. So we went through the day-to-day role as the tour manager. Can you tell us a day-to-day role for Trey as a manager?
Sure. Well, for me, I think it's a little bit different, Jay, because I still am a very active tour manager, and I'm doing both of those roles. So I have to find my time and spend it wisely to make sure not one of them suffers. And I think that's another part of my career right now that I haven't experienced, and I'm still learning day to day, which I'm fine with. But it's calling people with uncertainty, if that makes sense. With Craig, I'll call somebody with certainty. I know what we're doing. We're doing a show. We've got this. He's making this amount of money. It costs this much money to do it. With Trey, it's more or less a wish, a want, a gamble, if you will. Just trying to, it's like being a car salesman, unfortunately, right? I mean, you made a product with a guy, and you know what he can sell, and you know how good he is, but then trying to sell it to somebody else who's never heard it or hadn't heard it for the first time or whatever it may be. And then in the same regard, you're trying to sell something to them that they already had their mindset on that Mazda Miata or whatever it is down here. And you're trying to be like, no, that car sucks. You need this one.
Mazda is not a sponsor. If they would like to be, they sure can. I mean, if you have any hate mail, Jerry@jfranzi.com.
I'll tell you what, if you have any hate mail, you can send it to my 2004 Hummer H3. I need a lot of parts for it. That thing's still living, but I'm driving it every day. So if there's a sponsorship for a car they don't make anymore, I'm your guy.
There you go. All right, so you're taking on this role. It's definitely a more challenging role, especially with somebody who is not as established as Craig is.
Sure.
So on that note, though, when you took on the role, did Craig have anything to say about it?
Oh, he did. Absolutely.
What was that conversation like?
Okay, so Trey's not the first that I've tried this with. It's been a couple other guys, which I'm not going to name. I don't want to name them, but great guys. I wish them the best. But with Trey in particular, I think it became more of a fruitful thing because I've got, Craig's producer involved, right? So Phil O'Donnell, he's one of my best friends in this industry and one of the most talented men I've ever met in my life. Written a lot of songs number ones for George Strait, Blake Shelton. I don't even want to go down the rows, but you get what I'm saying. A very, very established gentleman in our field. So I got Trey hooked up with him, and we really produced and did a great record. So I think it made it more fruitful then at Craig's eyes to this was a thing I'm trying to do. And Craig was all cool with it, but like I said, he didn't want it to interfere with anything, what we do on our daily operations. And that's been a challenge as well, but here's the thing about it, Jay, is like I got Craig involved. He's very cognizant of the situation, and he knows what talent is, and he believes in Trey. So in return, me and Craig developed a management company, and now Trey is our first artist on said management company.
Nice.
I love that.
And he's also Craig's next opening act, so it works out.
Well,
That's what I was going to say.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, probably not all the time, but a couple times it probably helped, right? So
Yeah. What is your sounding board?
Probably my best friend in this business is whether he'll say it or not, and he probably will. I mean, he's He's a very high-profile manager at Red Light Management, a gentleman by the name of Gaines Sturdivant. But the funny thing about it is, Tiffany, is like at the time, Craig's booking agent, this was CMA Fest. He brought who, quote unquote, was going to be Craig's manager to the bus and said, Jerry, I'd like to introduce you to Gaines Sturdivant. And this was Jeff Field at the time, Jay, the same guy that I had booking Trey. But so Jeff, he was at CA at the time. He was like, Gaines Sturdivant's the new manager. Here he is, CMA Fest. We did the stage. I was like, oh, great. Then I never heard anything about him. I never talked to him again, nothing. It was years later. And Craig went with another management company, and it didn't work out as well. And then here comes Gaines. But since about 2013-14, he became Craig's manager, and he and I just hit it off. I mean, he's just one of my best friends. If I have a shitty day, at the end of the day, I'm calling that guy.
Yeah.
Just because he understands and knows, and he confides in me, and he can break it down to a business standpoint or a personal standpoint. And I just don't have a lot of people in my life that can do that. I mean, my wife, obviously, you know, she's been my rock. I don't want to be sentimental with everybody in your audience, but I mean, if there's not a woman like that in your life as a music man, there's no more music. I mean, it's just really not. I mean, you could be a single guy and do this, sure. I mean, it'd probably be a little bit more party back here than it is right now. but having a stable woman in my life for the past 3 decades, it's enticed me. It's encouraged me, and just kind of devoted me to my trade to try to make it better for us. Yeah. Right. But if she would have made it harder on me to do it, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish it. There's no way.
Yeah. And I always think about that with people that are on the road. You really have to have a supportive house or. Yeah. I mean, Jay can probably attest. It's not even just on the road, just this business in general. I mean, music is so finicky, and the way it's changed. God, when I was learning this crap, when this gentleman was teaching me some of this stuff, it's completely. Well, I mean, I'm using that as respect.
Oh, thank you.
It's completely different then than it is now. 100%.
Well, I was thinking about the different growths that you've had. Your different promotions per se. How much time was between each one of them? So you started out with the monitor engineer. I don't know all the technical terms. Sorry. Monitor engineer. Sure. And then how long before you kind of graduated to that next spot and to that next spot? Sure.
Well, so I'll give you a little education first, Tiffany. So monitor engineer is somebody that deals directly with music that the band is hearing while they're performing. Okay. So you've been to a show, right? Obviously you have been to multiple. So a monitor engineer is one of those guys that don't get credit for anything other than if something goes bad. If they had a good night, it's called good job. If they had a bad night, you could be flying home the next morning. That's the difference in the monitor guy. The front of house guy has a little bit more variables, has a little bit more stuff. It is his favor not to be the guy that made it a bad night, right? Okay. The venue itself, the people, blah, 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 you name it. There's so many variables, I couldn't even explain it to you, but they just control what you hear.
Also, the artist doesn't hear the front of house.
At all. It's not even a thing. Like, if his manager don't hear it and tell him about it, that guy's got a job tomorrow. Okay. The artist hears what the monitor guy's doing in time right there. Okay. Right? So, as far as my time with all of them, I guess 2004, 2008 was monitors and stage managing and guitar taking. 2008 to 2011 was front of house and production manager, and 2012 until the present day, I've been the tour manager.
Okay. So I'm thinking in my head about, you start a position and you start to get comfortable in it, and then you're kind of ready to graduate to the next thing. So it sounds like you kind of did that at the beginning of your career, about every 3-4 years you were learning new skills and moving on. Right. And it sounds like now you're maybe starting this new thing with Craig, and it sounds like maybe there's a new chapter starting kind of where you're learning a new skill set again. It's like ready to up level. How do you feel about that? What does your wife think about that? Does that mean less time on the road? What does it mean for you?
So I'm glad you brought that up. So Tiffany, that's the goal, is less time on the road, obviously, because of being somebody who's sorry guys, I'm changing Zen out. I know we're probably live, but I need a nicotine fix right here. Apologies,
time.
audience. Apologies. So that was the main goal, really, Tiffany. Like completely from all of this, it wasn't even to take that next step to be that guy or be a manager or nothing. It was a natural progression.
Sure.
But the main course and the main direction and narrative was to get me home with my wife and children. So if you're somebody that goes on the road and you have family, your objective is to find a way to get you back home to your family. Right? Whether it's the end of the tour or it's just longevity and being done with it. I mean, the road can only go so far from a certain age point to where you just start getting jaded and just missing everything. And that traveling don't mean anything. Because when you travel the way that we do, and everybody's like, oh my God, you've seen the world, you've been here, you've been here. I have. I've seen a lot of stages and a lot of hotels.
Right.
Maybe a bar in between and an eatery at some side of the road in nowhere in Montana that has a great steak. It's like, oh, we better remember this, let's pin it. But like, you really don't get to experience like what you would on vacation with your family.
Right.
Or you don't have that mindset because you're at work. So you don't really get to see the world in the perception of the way people think you do. But you get to miss everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, you miss you miss it all.
Yeah.
And you have to come home and justify that and see your materialistic things and see how good, you know, your family's doing. They got AC, they don't live in a trailer, we have a good house, blah, blah, blah. And you try to justify your time and your money, and that pendulum as you get older, buddy, the weight of it just...
Do you feel like Craig is feeling the same way?
100%. Yeah, I mean, that's what he does for a living, just like myself. I think that's the most fruitful operation he has in a lot of the businesses that he owns. But he'll tell that to your face. I'm not saying nothing he wouldn't say.
Right.
Of course he does. He has children, has grandchildren, you know, and his wife he's had for 40 years. It's awesome. All that weighs on any man. Anybody, not just man, any man or woman or person or creature that travels and they're away from their loved ones, they feel it at some point.
Now, the thing that you and Craig are starting, if you could remind me the name of the company that you guys are starting, and then who approached who on the partnership?
Wow. So what we landed on right now is Broken Compass Management. Okay. The reason why that is...
There ain't no way in hell we're getting you to where you need to go.
The reason why that's even a thing, me and Craig's always kind of wanted to take a next step or always continue to work together. And obviously when he scales down, Tiffany, from his day-to-day operations on tour, my role is going to be less because of that. But we want to find a way to us always to operate as a business partnership going forward. This is the next natural step, especially for me and him. I mean, not really for him. I mean, the dude he's ruled the world. He's done everything he needs to. God bless him and his family. He's done everything right, and he has everything looking forward to him in his retirement, and he's going to be fine. But what I love about him is the respect and still the drive to help me do something like this. But the reason why this became a thing is because a lot of people don't know, maybe your audience, in 2016, Craig had a son that passed away.
Oh, okay.
And it was one of the most intense and real experiences in a relationship with somebody that I've ever experienced. Whether it be a mom, a brother, a dad, a best friend. No, it's like to be there and witness what that family went through was very trying. I mean, good Lord, when I came home after everything was over, literally I just fell on the floor in my children's bedrooms and just cried. Just couldn't even imagine what this family was going through. Long story short, so his son that passed away, he wrote a lot of stuff down and a lot of artwork, and he drew compasses, and that was kind of his thing. And Craig always wanted to do something like compass management. Well, for some reason, there was a company in Michigan, a real estate company, and we couldn't have compass management.
Jerks.
So me and Craig tried to do that, but then years later, which is now with Trey, we did it again, and we were just brainstorming and come up with Broken Compass. And the reason why we kind of wanted that to be a thing was because Broken Compass is kind of creating a compass and helping new artists find their way. So Broken Compass Management is just us kind of helping you manage that brokenness and put you in the right path for success.
I was thinking the line to success is usually not straight. It's usually this broken, squiggly line that, so maybe your compass is broken. You don't get that straight path, but, you get the follow-up. It sounds like you've been betting on yourself this entire time, and it sounds like the money is great, but that's not the real motivation. So I wish you guys nothing but luck. I mean, how amazing. Yes, nothing but sheer success. Yes.
No, it's nothing. It's never been about the money. Money's never been a thing for me because I never came from money. I've always been, and grew up in trailers and broke. I mean, hell, I paid almost $30,000 to learn from that man right there.
What a mistake that was.
And, well, I mean, now that I look back at it, Jay, I don't know. I think it was the best money I've ever spent because it catapulted me into a industry that I had really no business being in. I mean, it was one that I flirted with because I could sing back in the day and did some demos and helped a buddy out with karaoke and blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to be a singer. But as soon as I saw my direction and kind of where my place was in this industry, man, I buckled up and went head first.
What do you remember most from the school?
Man, I got to tell you, I'm glad you asked me that. I was hoping that we'd come to this portion of the event this evening. Do you remember my good buddy, and I know you do, when I say his name, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about.
I already know.
Rob Thacker. This is a gentleman that I went to school with, Tiffany, and he was still one of my best friends to this day. I mean, good Lord, me and this guy had some times back then. So Jay teached the class. He was, he's all digital and all knowing and all just, this is what I'm going to teach you young bucks today. And it was always Pro Tools and stuff like that. But I think, Jay, if I'm not mistaken, we were doing a sound of picture. And you may not remember this, man. This was so long ago. But sound of picture was a Terminator. Terminator 2, to be exact, is what the film was. And he was teaching us automation in Pro Tools and all these different things and doing it through sound of picture. Well, me and Rob, our stupid asses, we literally had a 57, SM57, plugged right into the digital I/O, and we were sitting there just saying what was happening on screen. When the robots were walking, we were like, and then Jay, if you don't know, you asshole, we are panning this left to right now. We were recording all this crap, and that's what we turned in. I can't believe this man passed us. That is literally what we turned in as a project. I don't know if he remembers that, but that is exactly what we did.
I very vaguely remember that. However, there are plenty of other moments of the two of you that I remember just fine. So.
How much did that piss you off, Jay, as their teacher?
No, I bet he probably laughed his ass off. I mean, so much, Tiffany. We had
It's not what you're recording; it's knowing how to record something. So if you can make that work, you make it work.
We had a D8B, the digital console, right? So it was like our first studio type environment that we had, other than the A8B, which is the analog console. But anyway, so in this said console, we had to record something. So Rob Thacker brought in a Roland electronic drum kit. And we proceeded to go down to the mic closet and get the most expensive mics we could possibly get and overhead this freaking electronic drum kit with all this stuff and played it. And all they heard was,
it was just hitting rubber.
It just hit rubber. I was like, we're never going to pass this course, man. I just spent 30 grand on this shit. Like, my wife is going to kill me. But
so you took it very seriously.
So we passed, and here I am now.
Dude, I will tell you, when I decided to leave the school, probably a little too much information, but when I decided to leave the school was when federal funding got involved, and we had to make sure that a certain number of students, a certain percentage, graduated in order to continue to receive federal funding.
Sure.
So when you get involved in that, then you're starting to get involved in, well, now you're just putting crap out into the industry.
And that is how Jerry passed.
And that's how Jerry passed. There you go.
There we go. So if I fail, it's Jay's fault, Tiffany.
Yeah.
No.
There you have it, folks. That's why Craig's doing so well.
I've already succeeded. I mean, money well spent, right? I mean, here's the thing. Full circle, there's no way that I could have fathomed that I would be doing this tonight. You know, with everything I went through in between, from the last time I saw this guy right here until the night I'm seeing him right now, it's pretty special.
How things work out.
It's pretty special. I got to be honest.
If you remember back to week 1 of that school, do you think you're ever going to edit analog tape or align a tape machine?
Yeah, man, I thought that was the industry standard. That's
week 1, you're sitting there going, oh, I got to remember all of this. Week 2, you're into digital. You never see analog again.
Yeah. And week 8, I was a tour manager, so I didn't know what was going on, right? So, yeah, I mean, unbelievable, really. This industry is just so, it's crazy. It's a great ride, but it is unbelievably crazy. I feel for people now that get into it because of the nuance of everything, and God bless these kids trying to do this, man. I mean, holy cow. I'm not going to speak anything bad about it because I want anybody to be successful in this business, but man, there's a lot of rich people that are not talented, and there's a lot of talented people that's not rich.
Yeah.
Well, that's the industry forever, but
yeah, forever.
It's a different approach the way people are doing things these days. The people growing up don't seem to want to be engineers. I mean,
no, they don't.
That was something that was a desired field back in the days, to be the producer and the engineer. And now the only time you want to be a producer and engineer is if you're producing yourself as an artist.
Sure.
So I moved from the one college to another. I went to the International Academy of Design and Technology after SAE, and all of the students were there to produce themselves. There was nobody there to go work in a recording studio.
So they were very progressive at that time, then, I guess, right?
I think that's such a tragedy. Like, I guess just from me outside of the industry thinking, like, you had your hands on that project that ended up on the radio that millions and millions of people listened to. Like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite song. They've made memories to that music. Who knows if you've just cherished that one song forever.
Sure.
And like when we were in Nashville, and I can't remember what song came on, and Jay was like, oh yeah, I worked on that song. I don't think that you realize, like, I just felt like I just wanted to have a moment just to think about that. Like, that is something that everybody listened to. I think that is like, I don't know, like what an honor, what a privilege to be smart enough to know how to do that. Like, I seriously feel like I'm getting choked up.
Right.
Like just to be a part of that song that somebody cherishes and loves, and that artist poured their heart and soul into it. And I don't know. I think that that's a huge miss if someone doesn't want to be a part of that.
Well, I'm still the same way, Tiffany. That's probably why I'm chasing what I'm chasing, because I felt it with Craig, and I felt it for a long time. And he was one of the guys in that era that did it the old school way until today's age, and been able to sustain a lot of that stuff. I mean, as a guy doing it for 25 years, there's not a lot of acts. I mean, there's not a lot of acts right now that came out 5 years ago that's going to be here in the next 20. It's just not, because that's just not the way the industry's built. Right? I mean, it takes a lot to do that. And that's no disrespect to none of them, but that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, that's for all of us, from AI to all the technology and everything we got going on. I mean, hell, AI gets good enough, these artists are not even going to need a manager. They just plug in what they want in a prompt, and freaking they got everything they need.
AI will start calling the hotel and booking the rooms.
Well, no, that's different too. I guess there'll be a tour manager. I mean, some people do have to play the show, right? I mean, the show does have to be played.
Yeah.
So until they get robots to do that shit, I guess we still got a little bit of a gig. But just I get what you're saying, but like with these younger acts, and you get so much involved, and you record something so good, and then you present it to these people that back in the day would help you out in their artist development situations and AR and all that stuff. And now if you don't give them a finely tuned product to sell, they don't want to touch it. And okay, that's fine. If that's what we're doing, that's great. But at that standpoint, they know that they're going to usher themselves out of the industry, right? Because if you get a bunch of these independents that are like the big Ella Langleys and Riley Greens and stuff of that nature, they're going to stop taking the phone calls from the record labels because they're going to see how profitable it is for them just to keep it all in-house themselves and hire their own people. Why should I go give 50% to a record label when I can pay 20% and buy me a promotion staff to go put this on radio? And it's already starting to happen. And I'm not a jaded guy. I mean, I want Trey to be on a record label tomorrow. I think it's only going to help our cause and our drive. But in a couple of years, I don't know if that's going to be even a thing that we even think about.
He doesn't even need it now.
A record label right now, Dre, in my opinion, is kerosene. But it's really, really expensive kerosene.
Exactly.
It keeps the fire burning, but how much money do you have to pay for it?
Right.
Right? I mean, that's just the way I kind of consider it.
Well, he is a great guy, and that kind of leads us right into this next segment here. We typically have this thing here we call Unsung Heroes, where we give you a moment to shine the light on somebody who's worked behind the scenes or somebody who may have supported you along the way. Is there anybody you would like to thank?
Wow. Man, I've got a lot of people I can thank. That's damn, Jay.
Yeah, we only get 6 more hours, so. You know.
Okay, we're good then. All right, well, so I got to start unsung hero. I got to start with my wife. I mean, I'm sorry, I just can't. I mean, I know that's a cliche thing to say.
Move.
No, it can be cliche, but I mean, the woman has just put up with so much shit of my just being on the road and changing careers and just wanting to do things. And it's got to start with her and my children. I mean, my daughter is pretty much my mimic of the business sense, and my son is a mimic of my creative standpoint. She's going to school at Western Kentucky University for social media marketing and management. And she's probably going to be working with me and hopes to work with the Titans one day. She's big in sports and music. My son, God bless his soul, he just followed right down the footsteps, and he's playing guitar, he's playing bass, he's playing drums, he's wanting to go SAE and follow my footsteps. He just turned 18, and just trying to put him in the right path to make the right decisions like I did. But if there's one guy on my day-to-day right now, if you want to call an unsung hero, it's my stage manager, Adam Nguyen. This guy is a former trooper from the great state of Kentucky. He was an officer for about 22 years, but he's also a drummer as well, and he has his own company that makes mallets. But this guy, Jay, when he comes to work, he's my stage manager, my guitar tech. He sets the tone for the business. He's the first guy up to be bubbly and just greet everybody, whether it's a promoter or a stagehand or a caterer or whatever it is. And he just kind of sets the tone for everybody. And the dude is like that from load in to load out and beyond.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who just, on your crew, just kind of, it makes you check yourself by looking over and watching him. And you're like, you know what? I need to match that energy and do that job the same way today.
Love
well,
that.
sir, I'm sure there are 500 more things that we have on our list that we could talk to you about, so you'll have to come back.
I would love to.
So we'd love to have you back. But in the meantime, we have done it. We've reached the top of the hour, which does mean we have reached the end of the show. If you've enjoyed the show, please tell a friend. And Miss Tiffany, if you have not.
Tell two.
Tell two. You can reach out to both of us. You can reach out to all three of us over at jfrenzy.com. We will keep this or any other conversation going for that matter. Jerry, my friend, it has been an absolute blast having you here and catching up. We would like to leave the final words to you.
Oh, well, I mean, buddy, what can I say? Where my journey started just a little bit before you, and during that time period that you were teaching me things that you probably wouldn't even think that would have affected me beyond, and helping me create a career that helped myself and my family for now and until who knows. I mean, my children's going in the same footsteps as me. I pass it on to another generation. And I just thank you. I thank you for the opportunity to come on here tonight with you and Tiffany. I appreciate what you've done for me in the past, even though you thought it was just another day of you teaching at school. But those little bits probably stuck with me a little bit to make me the person I am today and help me advance in my career. So I appreciate that.
All right, thank you for saying it. All right, folks. On that note, have a good night. All right, before we go, you mind if we do a few shout-outs?
Please.
First of all, previous guests of the show, as we keep saying tonight, it seems to be a theme. The High Mountain Breezes. They are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Cats in the Cradle. They have just released a new documentary. Jason Chapman and the teams together have released a documentary. That documentary is out now in limited run in theaters, so if you do have the opportunity to see it, please go check it out. I'm sure it'll be on all of the streaming services after this, but if you would like to see it in a theater, now is the time.
And they have their tribute music video on their website, and you can go check that out. At the end, there is a QR code. Scan it, and it will tell you all about his charity, Why Hunger. Just kind of cool that his legacy lives on through the music, and now it lives on through his charity as well. So go check those two things out and learn a little bit more.
Very cool. Also like to shout out Mr. Ray, Mr. Vaughn Ray, guest numero uno of the show.
Ground zero
or ground one. I don't know.
Ground one. I know. I thought about that too.
I don't know either.
Ground one.
Vaughn Ray. Just amazing guy. And also owner of VR Knives. If you need a knife, check out Vaughn Ray. Why not? Mm-hmm. And then let's just go ahead and shout out a few crew members. Miss Kathy, thank you for being here all the time. We truly do appreciate you. Mr. Mark Bottolato, we appreciate you being here as well.
Is my mom crew member 1 or crew member 0? If we're talking about
I mean, if we were going to go that route, I would say
George, you're fired.
You had George, you had Kenny. I don't know.
Caden. Okay, she's got to be uno, dos, tres, cuatro. She's got to be cuatro.
In the top 5 for sure.
Okay.
In my mind, Miss Kathy, you're still number 1.
Oh, dang.
Anyways.
Get a room.
Okay. Miss Kathy, Mr. Mark Bottolato, and of course, the question of the day, James.
Whoa.
Really? Let's not ever do that again.